Gentlemen, what would you envision for front-end technologies in the future, say 5 to 10 years from now? Julian, maybe you can share your thoughts first.
Sure. It's so hard to predict. I think UX will lead. If 3D comes into designs, it's going to change the front-end coding a lot. That has really yet to happen. I don't know if there's a real need or desire for it to do so. In terms of the tech landscape, I feel like what's already happening is almost, I'd hate to call it a slowing down, but there's less radical changes. You know, we've gone from the time where the front end was starting to take itself seriously. There was a first real stab at frameworks. Now we're getting into a second generation of those where, you know, some of the same challenges are being tackled across the board, like the global state, like the way of handling async in a useful and eloquent pattern. And I feel like what we're seeing now is, like we've seen much more on the back end over the years, we're seeing refinements, we're seeing an evolution. So my prediction would be a slowing of the emergent radical, here's a whole new way of doing it, this is going to blow you away, and more of a nuanced increment over what we're already doing. The same concepts appearing across the board, hopefully some standardization to where people could decouple their code a bit. But I think that's quite a far-reaching goal.
Will, same question for you. What do you envision for front-end technologies in the future?
Yeah, so for the front end, I still see JavaScript as being the de facto language for the front end. I also see that that component-based architecture is still going to be the predominant pattern for the front end. I also think for managing state, I still think that the Redux pattern is going to be the dominant player. As for what's changing, I think that modularizing, what your stack, instead of going for a all done for you something like an Angular, I think like things like Jamstacks, which stands for JavaScript APIs and Markup, are allowing people to work with Git workflows, build their apps cheaper and easier using modern build tools, work with things like server-side rendering, static site generators, which reduce costs for hosting, serving, and just creating more performant applications.
Great insights, gentlemen. Thank you.